TV, starting place for the likes of WWE female superstars Kathy Kelly, Sonya Deville, and Zelina Vega proudly presents Women's Wrestling Weekly, the world's first podcast and YouTube series dedicated exclusively to women's wrestling, featuring all the latest news as well as interviews with top superstars in the industry. And now, AfterBuzz TV's own gorgeous lady of wrestling, TK Trinidad.
Bonjour, you're watching Women's Wrestling Weekly, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. My name is TK Trinidad, aka the Canadian Assassin, and in studio, she is back for another one. Thank goodness. She hails from the valley. She is the farmer's daughter. Please welcome Emily May.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be back another week.
The excitement is real. Okay,
I know.
I like this. So we have a really great show. We're going to be doing Star of the Week, but our show is about guests. It's not about us. It's about showcasing amazing wrestlers, and today is no exception. She is the bald and bougie baddie. Please welcome Flex Rated.
Hi, everyone. How are you?
How are you doing?
I'm great. Glad to be here. So stoked.
So I went through your Instagram. Quite entertaining. So let's start from the beginning here. How did you get into wrestling?
Well, originally, I was a fitness competitor with the NPC, so I competed in bikini and figure. Okay. And when I started doing that, I noticed that a lot of the girls that were competing in the shows that I was competing were getting signed, like, Alexa Bliss and Caitlyn, Oksana. So I was thinking, okay, I've wanted to do this since I was a teenager, so I think I'm going to try it. So I took a break from competing and went on Google, searched for some schools, and found a school in Atlanta called WWA4 back in 2013. And I didn't train there, but I got contacted by them to be a valet for one of their wrestlers in a triple threat match. And I went there on Labor Day weekend and I valeted that night and I was hooked. I was like, I want to go ahead and do this now. So as soon as I got back home, I was in Savannah, Georgia at the time. I Googled wrestling schools in my area, found one in Statesboro and started training and just went from there, and it's taken off since.
Nice. So tell us about your first experience as far as training. I mean, I've heard different stories as far as taking that first bump. So what was your experience with that?
Well, I got a concussion, my first bump I ever took.
Oh
no.
I landed right on my head, actually. I missed my entire small of my back, or flush of my shoulders, and landed right on my head.
That's not good.
It was scary. Yeah, that first bump, it hits a little different, especially when I'm in my 30s, so it hits a lot different when you're up in age.
Oh, man. So what was that process after that happened? What did your trainers do? And, what was the process to get back into the ring and to start training again?
Well, I actually started training, later on, a couple weeks after that. I did a quick spot in a show that same night, but I didn't wrestle. I just did, a run-in. And then after that, that's when I actually, got back into training. But fast forward, now I currently train, and I live in Dallas, Texas now, and I train with DFW All Pro Wrestling, which is an amazing facility. We have, I want to say, about 6 girls, which is usually rare. We have our own division. We have a women's division, DFW All Pro Women's Wrestling, and then, of course, we have the whole entire DFW All Pro Wrestling as well. And we train really hard, 3 hours a day, 4 days a week. In the ring, out of the ring, it's intense, and they're very picky. So they teach us how to be safe, and they also teach us, storytelling and just the small minor details on how to, put a match together and give you a solid foundation as well.
Now, definitely storytelling is a huge aspect. And like I said, went through your Instagram. It seems like you have the storytelling part on point. What did it take to get you to that point as far as developing a character and then developing it into a story?
Well, I've always been pretty creative. I was in, musical theater as a kid. I was in ballet, and music was my major in college. I was an opera singer for 7 years. So I know what it takes to be creative and to use that artistic side of my brain to think outside the box and do things that most people wouldn't normally do or think of. So I've always had that in me since I was a kid.
That's amazing. So when you're thinking about creating the arc of the match, what is something that you try to strive for when you're making that happen?
Well, what I try to strive for is I always want to make sure that I keep the audience just riveted, keep them holding on to everything that I'm doing. Whether I'm a baby face, I want to make sure that they're rooting for me, and I do everything, whether it's my facial expressions, small things like that, or just how I react to a clothesline, or how I react to just anything that I'm doing in the ring. Everything matters. So it's all about keeping that audience invested in you.
And then who did you look up to as far as, when you were first starting, or even when you were watching wrestling back in the day?
Well, of course, I was an Attitude Era teenager, so I looked up to, China, Jacqueline, Lita, and Jazz, of course, who I've actually been blessed to be able to train with from time to time. She comes up and trains us every now and then and does our shows. Yes, and Molly Holly. I love Molly Holly a lot too.
So now, kind of tell us, what's the game plan? What do you hope to accomplish as far as wrestling wise in the next couple of years?
Oh wow, well there's a lot. It's been picking up pretty fast. Right now, I officially joined forces with Rache Chanel, formerly known as Raquel Wild Thing Vaughn. We are the Bald and Bougie Baddie Incorporated, and so we're officially a tag team.
Okay.
Right now we've already got our game plan going. She's been working with me in the ring, and we've been working with other people getting our moves set together. And we've also been, of course, collaborating with videos that you've seen before and creating lots of content. And just getting our merch together. We already have our game plan of who we want to face in the future. So we're ready to take the world by storm.
Awesome. Who do you want to face in the future as a tag team?
We want Big Swole and Aja Pereira. We've already made that clear together. We're like, yeah, we want those belts. We want the Gymnasty Boys. We'll take on all comers, but those are the main two that we're really looking at right now.
Okay, so you going for titles?
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
Wow, we're hearing it here.
I know. What's all the smoke? I'd be very, stay on top of it because they've both been on the show. So we wish everybody luck.
Yes, and I love them.
We'll have to go see how it goes down.
So tell, like I said, we have Ariel and Aja on the show, as well as Jazz, and they've all spoken on, being black in the industry. And even though it's come a long way from where, Jazz was talking about in the 80s, what is it? Have you experienced any racism in wrestling today or when you started?
I haven't experienced it personally, but I know that it does happen, and I have seen it happen to, my fellow colleagues. But I do believe that it does still exist, and I know that there's going to come a time when I will face it. I just haven't had, I think, as much experience as the women that you mentioned in order to, face it. If I probably have faced it and just didn't realize it, because people talk behind your back, you just don't know. But I haven't experienced it firsthand yet. But I'll be ready for it because I'm used to it. I've always been, even when I was in opera as an opera singer, I was always that one black woman in the show. Same thing with when I was on the dance team in high school. I was that one black girl vying for a spot. So I know what it's like to have to work 10 times harder to get that spot.
So now, as far as the ultimate goal for wrestling, the ultimate goal you want to take on Big Swole and Aja, any other goals that you have for your career?
Oh, absolutely. As far as singles and tag, I want to definitely venture out of Texas eventually once I'm ready. So I'd love to go to Japan, maybe Marvelous, Shine. Also, of course, there's AEW and NXT and WWE. Those are always a factor. They're on my vision board, of
Don't
course.
forget House of Glory, Master P.
House of Glory, Master P. Yes.
That's gonna be. It's gonna be the 2020 is gonna be more interesting than 2019 for wrestling.
It's gonna be
definitely
crazy.
It's exciting.
Now, what do you think makes you stand out from other people? As far as this is your time to talk to other promotions that are outside.
Real quick, y'all. Real quick. This is Ryan, the producer. I'm just chiming in real quick. Just putting up the slate. Hey, Flex Rated, would you be able to possibly take out your earrings just because they seem to be banging on your AirPods? So I just wanted to, it's just making a bit of a sound issue. But and we'll cut this part out. This is a pre-tape. It's live TV. But we'll cut this part out. Thank you so much for that. I have you muted right now. If you just shoot me a thumbs up, let me know you're set. Sweet.
I'm good.
Sorry about that. So TK, can we just go back on that question, if that sounds good?
What makes you stand out
No,
to other promoters? Yeah.
All right, cool. I'll count you in. All right. We'll go in 3, 2, 1.
So what do you think makes you stand out for other promotions?
Well, I think as far as my character and just myself, I'm the type of woman that gets in the ring. I mean, I'm fancy. That's my gimmick. I'm bald and bougie. But I'm also educated, but I'm not afraid to, throw a fade on somebody, and I'm also, of course, very creative. and very hardworking. I mean, I'm giving these textbook answers, but
No, you get it.
yeah, but
Yeah.
but what sets me apart is that, of course, my age. I mean, I'm 38. A lot of people don't realize that.
What?
And
Oh, wow.
yes, I'm 38 years old, and I've only
Oh,
been.
well, you know, it's true. Black don't crack. I
It
wouldn't have guessed
doesn't.
that.
So my work ethic is definitely there, and the maturity level is there. I don't think it would have been there if I'd have jumped in when I wanted to when I was about 18, 19 years old. I don't think I
Right.
would have made it. I probably would have been, thrown to the wolves. And I've got that mindset where I know that I'm a, a sound, mature woman, and I can make it in this business, and I can take criticism really well.
Yeah. What's some advice you could give to young wrestlers that want to get into the industry, or even people at 38 can get in?
Sure,
What would
sure.
you tell them?
Definitely find a reputable school. Train with someone that has, the connections, of course, to other reputable promotions, but also can teach you a solid foundation, because that's important.
Yeah.
And get health insurance, even if it's accident insurance, because you're gonna get injured, you're gonna get hurt. It's gonna happen eventually. Even if it's just a little accident policy, $30 a month, that will save you so much money. And of course, just train in the gym, get your diet right. That's what I do. I train every day. I'm in the gym in the morning. I'm lifting weights outside of the ring, outside of all my ring prep. And I do food prep, meal prep. So I believe that that's very important in order to keep your conditioning intact and to keep your body intact. You don't have to have a six pack, but you at least have to move in the ring like you do.
Definitely, yeah. Consistency, I think, is key, and that's a big thing that we've learned throughout these episodes and talking to other wrestlers. Is consistency. Yeah, definitely.
Everything. Is there anybody else on the list that you want to go up against?
Well, definitely Jazz. I know she's retiring soon. She's going to be starting a retirement tour. And I talked to her before. I was like, we want, your tag team in Bald and Bougie. We want to link up and do something. So definitely her. Aja Pereira, of course. Double DeRose, my Georgia girl, of course. Kiera Hogan, Evilise. I've got a long list. And
Oh my gosh, yeah, Evilise would be amazing.
Yeah, and there's so many in Texas. So.
Yeah. All right, so we are going to hit rapid hot tags real quick.
Sure.
Wrestling rapid hot tags.
So I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to say the first thing that comes to your mind. Always early or always late?
Always early.
Last person you text?
That was you, I think.
Oh, yeah. Well, there you go.
Trinidad.
What is the one thing you love about yourself?
My strength, my confidence.
Who would play you in a movie?
Ooh, Rosario Dawson.
Ooh, nice one. Celeb you would like to meet?
Jason Momoa.
Oh my God.
I think we all would.
Say no math. Last show you binge watched?
Snowfall.
If you were a crayon, what color would you be?
Gold.
If you were on death row, what would be your last meal?
Ooh. Oh my goodness. Pizza.
And if you can listen to one album for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Purple Rain by Prince.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh my gosh, it's an amazing one. Thank you so much for getting on the show. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We appreciate you for watching the show. I mean, it's.
Thank you.
I love it because sometimes you feel like you see the numbers, but you're like, is anybody watching?
Like, is anyone listening?
Is this thing on?
Oh, no.
So I really
listen
appreciate the love.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, and we look forward to the continued rise of your career. That battle between, I want to see it.
Yes.
But I'll be like, oh my God, I don't know how to feel about it.
It would be epic. And,
Yes,
and we'll
it would
be in the
definitely
front row. We'll both be in the front
Yes.
row.
Yes, definitely that. Now, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Instagram. I'm at FlexRated, and also on Twitter, I'm at FlexRated, but the last E in FlexRated is the number 3, so it's at FlexRated3D. And then I'm also FlexRated 2 words on Facebook.
Boom, there it is. Thank you so much for hopping on the show.
Thank you. I'm so glad you guys had me.
Thanks. So now, oh my gosh, she was absolutely amazing.
Oh my God, I love her so much.
It's one of those things where I love when you see somebody on Instagram and you're like, oh my God, they're my Instagram friend, but then they turn out to be the same person you see on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's whereas you see somebody who's like this bubbly person on Instagram, but in real life they're like a douche. That's definitely not FlexRated.
No. And I love how she's a fan of the show.
Oh my gosh, yes. Because, yes, it does sometimes feel like, is anybody watching this thing? Anyway, that's just me. That's just me dealing with my issues.
It's okay, TK. We're fine.
So we're going to get into the star of the week real quick.
Pro Wrestling Star of the Week.
All right, so our star of the week, hailing from the United Kingdom, at only 23 years old, she is the newest star on AEW. She's also currently signed to the World Wonder Ring Stardom and is the current World of Stardom champion. Nice. Bea Priestley. She officially debuted around 2015 and has taken the whole industry by storm. She's made appearances at Defiant Wrestling, What Culture Pro Wrestling, WCPW. She's gone against Nixon Newell, who's also Tegan Knox on NXT. Nice. She's gone against some amazing people. She's earned some amazing titles like the Defiant Women's Championship twice, Fight Forever Wrestling World Women's Championship, World of Stardom Championship, Goddesses of Stardom Tag Team. She has a whole list. And currently you could see her, she was on AEW Dark, AEW Dynamite, AEW All Out, and I know that there's going to be so much more to come. Has an amazing history, started at 14 actually, wow. But took a break for some health issues and then came back, older, wiser, is learning a lot. At 23. I know. 23. And I really think she's like the next rising star in the wrestling world. And so that is why Bea Priestley is our star of the week.
Oh my gosh, she's going to be amazing along with like some other folks. Like, Tessa Blanchard, like so many ladies who are starting at such a young age. And, provided, knock on wood, there's no injuries, the longevity of their career and the legacy that they're going to leave for other female wrestlers is absolutely, I'm looking forward to it.
It's incredible. I think they're the next generation that other, at 18 girls are looking up to. Yeah. They're looking at them at 23 saying, oh, wow, that I could be where they are. Right. And that's amazing. And we have a lot to look forward to.
A lot to look forward to, and especially 2020 with so many wrestling promotions. And that Master P one has me tickled in a good way. So I'm looking forward to that. But where can people find you?
So you can find me on all social media channels, Twitter and Instagram at Emily May Heller.
And you can find me on everything at TK Trinidad. We really appreciate you guys for watching the show. Without you guys, we wouldn't be the #1 wrestling show on the planet. Make sure if you are watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Also follow AfterBuzz TV on all social media platforms and wrestling platforms, I guess. AfterBuzz TV, and then follow Women's Wrestling Weekly on all social media platforms as well. WPW Weekly. Thank you to Flex Raider for joining the show. We really appreciate it. Till next time, guys. Ciao.
Bye.
From executive producer Kevin Undergaro, producer TK Trinidad, and me, Maria Menounos, we would like to thank you for tuning in to Women's Wrestling Weekly. To help TK, the crew, and women's wrestling in general, we ask that you subscribe, rate, and comment on Women's Wrestling Weekly at Apple Podcasts, and subscribe to our AfterBuzz TV wrestling channel on YouTube for this and other outstanding wrestling content. Buzz you later!